I'm Danielle and I'm endeavouring to answer the following question of why would you want to employ me? A quote that has stuck with me throughout my professional practice is that we don't learn from experience, we learn from reflecting on experience, by John Dewey. This quote demonstrates that we need constant reflection in our practices within the classroom in order to improve on student experiences and learning. We learn from reflecting on our mistakes and improving our professional practice. Throughout my professional experience, I was able to focus on developing my understanding and knowledge, meeting the APST standards as I progressed. I'd like to begin by focusing on my student Cameron, whose name has been changed to protect his identity. Cameron is currently on an NEP due to low levels of literacy and numeracy, and for the purpose of this case study, I focused on literacy. Within the first week of Term 2, my mentor, Cameron's parents, assistant principal, SSO worker and myself met for a revision of Cameron's NEP goals and discussion of what year level he would be assessed against for his reports. Meeting his parents provided an opportunity to collaborate with them to support Cameron both in the classroom and at home. The NEP meeting gave a chance to demonstrate APST 3.1 as we established challenging learning goals for Cameron, while also demonstrating APST 3.7 as we involved Cameron's parents in the educative process. Cameron's learning goals were to follow explicit instruction and to follow basic editing on the grammar focus of their writers' workshop each week. These goals were assisted through the scaffolding and visuals. This focused on the APST professional practice of plan and implement effective teaching and learning. As you can see within my evidence of assisting Cameron with his learning goals, scaffolding was a strong focus. Cameron was provided step-by-step processes and given handouts to glue in and assist him. Cameron struggles with writing a lot of text, particularly note-taking. To assist this, Cameron will be provided with PowerPoint slides that I used, as seen in my evidence, and copying 3 items off the board would challenge him. Then, either my mentor or myself would write the rest of it down as he read it out to us. This is also used when we write down reflections, as Cameron struggles to write down what he is thinking. In this scenario, I would sit with him and we would have a discussion about the reflection topic and scribe what he is saying. The scaffolding demonstrates the APST's professional knowledge focus area 1, knowing the students and how they learn. Good. To assist Cameron on his learning journey, the other focus was on visuals. Within the classroom, I set up a display of learning for my house unit. This was a visual, as seen in the evidence, that focused on each layer of learning being represented around the centre, showing the expansion of learning as we progress through the unit of work. This gave students an opportunity to reflect on their learning and visually follow the progression of learning. This visual display further demonstrates APST professional knowledge, knowing the students and how they learn, as this did not only benefit Cameron, but many other visual learners within the classroom. Within the classroom, it is important to encourage students to have a growth mindset. This focus was evident as a whole school approach, as well as reflecting in all teaching practices. If you focus on the evidence of our growth as a learner chart within the classroom, you can visually see the 4 levels and students were given a peg with their name on it to mark where they are sitting. This was implemented through lengthy discussions with students on how it would look, and the idea is that it's not to focus on negative behaviours or poor choices, but rather give students an opportunity to be rewarded for working towards their learning goal and striving to become independent learners. This also provided students, like Cameron, to strive towards their own learning goals within the classroom. All students began unguided, meaning they require support and guidance from the educators to improve their learning. Students who are not able to follow instruction and progress with their learning without constant reminders from the educator move down to being a directed learner. This means they are requiring explicit direction from the educators with all aspects of learning. Students who are doing the right thing and are not needing to be directed by the educator to stay on task with their learning can move up to striving. This shows that the student is able to work with minimal guidance from the educators and is striving for greater independence with their learning. Students who constantly show this for a substantial period of time will then move up to independent. These students are showing that they only require an overview from the educators to assist them to work independently, striving for excellence with their learning. It is important to note that students who ask questions to improve their learning are showing independence as well, due to them expanding their knowledge and understanding. Cameron thrived on this chart as he met goals and challenged his learning, allowing him to move up. This provides an opportunity to develop professional practice with a specific focus on Area 4, where supportive and safe learning environment is established and maintained. I'd like to briefly discuss my second case study student Ella, whose name has been changed to protect her identity. Ella experiences difficulties in both literacy and numeracy like Cameron, so I focused on numeracy. During my last week of professional experience, Ella had a breakthrough. In preparation for a test on fractions, we were creating a cheat sheet. I was doing mini workshops to assist these particular areas they might be struggling with. In the evidence, you can see that I've written up the specific topics, and students would come up and put their initials next to the area they would like to work on. Then, I would call down the areas that we were focusing on, and students would be able to come and join on the floor and work on mini whiteboards through problems to establish understanding. Ella stayed on the floor through every workshop, repeating each equation over and over on her whiteboard until it finally clicked. I even provided her additional examples so that she could continue practicing while the others were working through something different. She had that light bulb moment. I encouraged her throughout the whole process, and she really was enjoying the process and looked forward to sitting the test, whereas previously she was anxious. This learning helps to demonstrate APST Professional Practice Focus Area 5. Within my critical reflection section, I provided examples of my daily journals to show my progression and new challenges as I move through. My first example shows my challenges within the classroom at getting attention and maintaining student attention while delivering. The final example shows that I was able to then not have to worry about behavioural issues and getting student attention and being able to move through the lesson freely. I engaged in PLT meetings regularly through my experience, and this was a strong focus within the class and school. Our PLT consisted of the Year 6 and 7 teachers as well as members from leadership within the school. PLTs would meet to discuss what they are up to in learning and usually would have a focus on site improvements during my time. Staff meetings were every Tuesday afternoon and 2 were PD based. I was privileged to partake in the workshops on the Big 6 literacy focus run by Debbie Draper, which provided additional resources and strategies to teach students when looking at literacy. My middle journal entry shows an example of the information that we learnt from Debbie Draper. Seesaw was an app used across the school and a whole school focus within the classroom. I was able to engage with this resource, providing parents and caregivers an opportunity to see what students were learning within the classroom and to interact and communicate with parents and caregivers through this resource. This allowed students to go home and discuss what they learnt and visually explain it with their parents. These concepts helped to shape how I engaged in both focus areas 6 and 7 through professional learning and engaging professionally with colleagues, parents, caregivers, and the community. Creating this e-portfolio and gathering evidence and documenting my learning throughout my professional experience shows how I was able to engage with the ATSL teaching standards. And I believe that this is why I would be an ideal employee within the school, as I'm able to clearly demonstrate the ATSL standards while also providing a sound learning environment for students to learn and grow within an environment that is always reflecting my own practices within the classroom to ensure that it's new and innovative.